Zikora knew why she was growing up was her mom. Though her mom had always been sick giving birth to her, her mom was sick for a period of 5 good years. Zikora took care of her mom, gradually tendered to the needs of her mother. Her mom taught her so many things. Her mom taught her how to cook, how to knead clothes, how to sew clothes, how to light firewood. Even at age 5, Zikora could practically do so many things, being that her mom was always sick. And one fateful day, her mom kicked the bucket. This broke Zikora into pieces. All she ever knew was gone. All she ever had had left the surface of the earth. With her mother's siblings arguing on who was going to take care of Zikora, one of her mother's siblings, an Auntie, decided to take care of her. Auntie, Madam President, the one and only boss lady, the only woman who speaks and every other family member stays silent, not because she was the eldest, but because she was the wealthiest. And you know, where there is money, it moves with power. Madam Ifoma, regularly called by her siblings, was the most annoying of them all. She often faked smiles in front of everyone. She always gave this kind of smile like she cared about people, but she didn't. All she cared about was getting the job done, and that was who she had always been. She looked at everyone during the meeting and quickly said, "If no one is going to accept her, then I will. Since none of you want to take care of Zikora, our late sister's daughter, then I'm going to take care of Zikora. At least I have 2 daughters, and now they're going to have a sister too." Zikora was a bit excited and a bit scared. She wasn't sure if the look on Madam Ifoma's face meant taking care of or suffering her. For someone who was joyfully accepting someone, there should be a look of sympathy and acceptance, but the look on her face was straight, no emotion, nothing at all. But Zikora told herself, Mama had taught me everything, to be patient, to be nice, to understand my environment. Mama had told me that even animals tend to adapt to a new environment. So why should woman be not? So Zikora accepted Madam Ifoma's request. The moment Zikora got to Madam Ifoma's home, it felt a bit different. It wasn't small like her home. Her home was small and cozy in its own way. But Madam Ifoma's home was big and cozy in its own way. It wasn't welcoming to her. She felt strange in this home. The moment they entered, Madam Ifoma quickly showed her her room downstairs. That was where she was supposed to be. Whereas her daughters, Oluchi and Kamsi, stayed upstairs. Zikora was a bit surprised, being that Madam Ifoma had promised to take care of her like her own daughter. But she didn't question anything. And the next morning, when Oluchi and Kamsi were preparing for school, Zikora quickly had her bath, hoping that she was also going to go to school like the other girls. But Madam Ifoma quickly stopped her and told her, "Hey you, what are you doing?" With an innocent smile, she quickly said, "I'm preparing to go to school too." Madam Ifoma let out a loud laugh. "What did you just say? Which school? Was your poor mother able to send you to school? Wake up from your slumber, dear. I brought you here to take care of my girls. You're in charge of everything they do. Everything concerning them. You're in charge of washing their clothes, their pants, their food, their lunchbox, their shoe. That's your job, you know. At least putting a roof over your head is all I can do for you. She was my sister, so be it. But now you're here as a maid in my house." Zikora felt bad. This wasn't what she bargained. She felt that she was going to a better place. Not because her mom couldn't send her to school. Her mother sent her to community school. And she learnt little. Yes, it wasn't one of the prestigious schools then, but she was able to learn something. So why can't her own auntie send her to a community school too? But she didn't say anything. She still let out a very beautiful and innocent smile. "Okay, ma." She removed her clothes and started cleaning the house immediately. And with the passing days, with the girls growing each day, they weren't babies anymore, they were teenagers. Oluchi took the attitude of her mother, Madam Ifoma, bossy, arrogant, and very, very insultive. She always ordered Zikora around. She treated Zikora as if Zikora was a full-time maid, not given the fact that Zikora was her cousin. Whereas Kamsi was a bit reserved. Kamsi knew that Zikora is her cousin, and Kamsi always wanted to extend a hand of help. She often gave Zikora all her textbooks and notebooks, encouraging Zikora to read. In fact, she even told Zikora, whatsoever assessment you don't understand, bring it to me, I'll correct it for you. So Kamsi practically taught Zikora everything Zikora knew, and they did it in secret. Because the day Madam Ifoma caught them, she made sure to punish Zikora seriously. She did not even listen to any explanation they had to give to her. She insisted that Zikora pushed Kamsi into doing it, knowing fully well that her daughter was not going to disobey her. There was no room for any explanation. She punished Zikora drastically. So whenever Kamsi wanted to teach Zikora anything, they had to do it in hiding. Whenever Madam Ifoma was not around, whenever other people were asleep, they were going to hide and learn whatsoever Zikora wanted to learn. And when the girls had grown, gone to universities, and were doing well, and that was when Madam Ifoma thought it to herself that she was going to start sending Zikora to school. When Zikora was already too old to go to primary school, but Zikora was still grateful. Zikora never gave the impression of not being grateful. Even if Madam Ifoma was shouting at her, she always smiled. Even if she was letting out anything, Zikora always smiled. When Madam Ifoma called her and told her that she wanted her to enroll in primary school so she could write WAEC, Zikora still smiled. She did not make it look like as if it was a big deal at all. But to Madam Ifoma's greatest surprise, Zikora did not just enroll in primary school. The moment she was put in the community school, she did excellently well. In fact, the school quickly told Madam Ifoma that it was better for Zikora to quickly write WAEC and join others in the university. She was surprised. How come? Who taught her? I am 100% sure that no one gave her any book to read. Unknown to her, her Kamsi darling gave to Zikora. And Zikora always held it at heart, knowing fully well that Kamsi was the only one that loved her in Madam Ifoma's home. Madam Ifoma still insisted that Zikora had to go to SS3. She wanted to be sure that Zikora was good enough to write the WAEC. She stated that if Zikora could not pass the SS3 mock, she wasn't going to write the WAEC, as she didn't want to waste her money in any way for WAEC. So Zikora had to enroll in SS3, and she did well in the SS3 mock. After the SS3 mock, Zikora did excellently well. Zikora wrote her WAEC and also did well. When it was time to go to university, Zikora decided to become a nurse. She had always watched people wear beautiful white attire, the way they placed their cap on their heads. They put their red and blue biro by the pocket side. They always looked neat. Zikora admired them from a distance, so she wanted to be a nurse. So she made up her mind that she was going to study nursing in school. Madam Ifi told her that, no problem, but you have to work. Since you've been a maid in my house and I have not sent you to school, I'm going to pay part of your nursing school, whereas you have to work and pay the rest. Zikora accepted. She was already okay with that. In fact, she was already used to Madam Ifi's trouble. Zikora was doing well in nursing school. Kamsi was also doing well in engineering school. Oluchi was also doing well as a medical doctor. In fact, Oluchi graduated as the best medical student, a first-class holder. Oluchi was the best when it comes to medicine. Kamsi was very good in engineering, even though she didn't graduate as the best engineering student, but she was very good. Zikora also was very good in lesson. With the three girls doing all well, it was time for marriage. Various men started coming for their hands in marriage. Whenever they approached Madam Ife only showcased her beautiful daughters, being Oluchi and Kamsi. Anyone that comes to the house and say he or she wants to get married to Zikora, she was going to quickly lie against Zikora. That one, you don't even know that one. Her auntie will tell you about her. Do you know this lady is a curse from birth? From the moment her mother gave birth to her, she tormented her mother for 5 good years till her mother gave up the ghost. The reason I decided to take care of her was because the elders asked me to take care of her, being that she cannot harm me because I am not her flesh and blood. Most men with little feet will run away, being that they are scared. Hearing that someone tormented their own mother, obviously, they will run for their dear life. And when Madam Ifoma's 2 kids, Oluchi and Kamsi, had gotten married to wealthy men, that was when she was ready to give out Zikora's hands in marriage. At that time, no wealthy eligible bachelor was coming. The least person that had come to get married to Zikora wasn't even as wealthy as Oluchi's husband. He was just a regular lorry driver who earned how much per go. But Zikora still accepted him. She knew little or not much about him, but she knew that he was a good person. She accepted him and got married to him. After they got married, Ejike, Zikora's loving husband, turned out to be a very wealthy man, because people who drive lorry are wealthy. That was something Madam Ifoma never knew, that people who owned their own lorry and drove their own lorry had lots of money. He had disguised himself as a very poor man, being that he had heard from various people that Madam Ifoma collected a very high bride price for her daughters. So he did not want to come and showcase that he was a wealthy person. He wanted to pretend to be poor so that Madam Ifoma could collect later. But he did not know, too, that Zikora wasn't Madam Ifoma's daughter. She was gladly giving Zikora out because her 4 daughters were already married to wealthy men. And with the passing days, Madam Ifoma enjoying her life left, right, center. All her in-laws bestowing her with gifts, money. Whenever she needed anything, they sent to her. One fateful day, Oluchi was sent out of her husband's house. Madam Ifoma was shocked. What happened? Why were you sent out of your husband's house? Don't you know how to keep your husband? Is it too difficult to do that? Oluchi said, Mama, it's not my fault though. My husband asked me to cook, and I made what I know how to make, being French toast. And he asked me if French toast was for dinner, and I told him yes. And he flared up. He even asked me to wash his clothes, and I told him I wasn't used to washing clothes, that he should go get a washing machine. Madam Ifoma told her daughter, I thought your husband was well, so why is he being so stingy? Can't he get a maid? Oluchi quickly looked at her mother and said, Mama, help me ask him off. Can you help me and ask this man? To get common maid, he's making it a big deal. I want the food my wife to cook. And I told him I don't know how to make all those soups, so my mother did not teach me how to make all those soups. Madam Ifoma looked at her daughter and said, Come on, close your mouth. What do you mean by that? My mother did not teach me what? Come on, Metronogi. How dare you go there and embarrass me? What do you mean by that? Oluchi looked at her mother. Mama, did you teach us? You did not bother teaching either I or Kansi how to cook. It was always Zikora. Zikora, go and do this. Zikora, go and do that. Zikora, go and do this. So why are you making it look like you did? Madam Ifoma pinched herself. Truth be told, she did not bother teaching any of her daughters how to cook, how to clean, or how to cater for her home. She always felt that giving it to Zikora was a punishment she deserved. So now, her both daughters might be sent back to her, whereas Zikora will sit down in her husband's house and enjoy herself. Hey! If only she knew. But to her greatest surprise, Kamsi was not sent back home, Because whenever Kamsi taught Zikora how to read and write, Zikora taught Kamsi how to cook, how to clean, and how to bake. It all started with baking because Kamsi loved cake and Zikora loved to read baking books. It started with trials and errors and they gradually loved cooking together. So whenever Madam Ife and Oluchi were not at home, the both girls cooked their meals together. So Kamsi was enjoying herself in her husband's home. Zikora, who was married to a wealthy man, Ejike, was also enjoying herself in her husband's home. Whereas Oluchi, who was a carbon copy of her mom, rude, uncaring, was returned back to her mother's house to learn how to cook, to learn how to cater for her home. And up till this day, we are still waiting for Oluchi to return. We are all waiting for her to return from her mother's home and cook the delicacies she had learned. Thank you for listening to this beautiful story of the day. We still remain your favorite storyteller, Zika. Please, I would like you to share what you've learned from this one. Until we'll see you again in our next story, please do not forget to share our stories to your loved ones. Subscribe to our channel. Join our channel membership so you won't miss out on our latest story. So we'll see you again. Bye for now.